Hi, and a very warm welcome. I'm Greg Parry. I'm a wellbeing specialist and executive coach. And one of the areas that a lot of my clients find absolutely fascinating is the great uncharted territory of their dreams. Now, I know most people don't remember what they've dreamt, wake up in the morning and we have to focus on the day ahead. So we don't put a lot of time and energy into trying to interpret what our dreams might have been trying to tell us. But this is an extraordinary subject. It's something I'm fascinated by as well. The challenge is this: the way that we perceive the world is based on an extremely limited filtration system that ignores the vast majority of the data that's flowing around us. We've evolved for our conscious minds to be aware of around about 6 or 7 subjects at a max. But we are surrounded by an enormous amount of information. It's flowing around us all the time, and we're blissfully unaware of how this information is perhaps affecting us. We've even got a system in the brain called the reticular activator system that filters out the vast majority of that data so that we just focus on what we feel is relevant. I say feel because that reticular activator system is largely conditioned by our emotional responses. Now, just because the conscious mind is only aware of a tiny, tiny fraction of what's going on, the conscious mind is aware of virtually everything. So it's processing enormous amounts of data. In fact, if you really wanted to have access to one of the finest analytical systems you'll ever encounter, it's in your subconscious. And one of the ways that this huge resource of information, data analysis communicates with you is through symbolism. It doesn't share a common language with the conscious mind. It tends to express itself in symbolism. And that's where dreams can be really revealing. I'm not entirely convinced that the symbolism is general. I think it tends to be very specific to the individual. And that's why holding on to some of the key details of our dreams and learning to understand them in symbolic terms can be extremely relevant. And one of the things I'd like to mention to you today is that before you go to sleep at night, if you've got a burning issue, a particular question you'd like to resolve, ask yourself, tell yourself that you're going to encounter the answer in the simplest, clearest, most unambiguous terms whilst you sleep. Some people actually have a little trick. They have a glass of water by the bed. They take a sip of water before they go to sleep with the instruction, I'm going to find the answer to this particular question. And the simpler the question, the simpler the answer. And then when they wake up and they take a sip of water, the conditioned reflex is that they'll remember the part of the dream that deals specifically with the question. And you may be absolutely astonished at the clarity, can I say the purity of the information that your subconscious delivers to you. It's specific, it's directed to you. In my experience, you never get information, you never get an analysis which is going to cause harm, either to you or to other people. It's just one of those strange phenomena. But it can be really powerfully relevant. Sometimes the answer is blindingly obvious, and sometimes it'll just take your breath away. But this is you, this is your subconscious, which is aware of an unbelievable amount of information, analysing, crunching the data, and giving you a simple, punched out answer. And it's usually very, very simple because of this question of language. It's very difficult sometimes for the subconscious to give a full, rounded 20-page explanation. It'll punch out the message in a form that you can understand. However, the symbolism that it uses really can have subtlety that will take your breath away. Oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow. It's very deep. It's personal, it's relevant to you. So what you might want to consider doing is keeping a notepad by the bed. This is the way that I learned to recall my dreams. When I woke up, bleary-eyed, I'd pencil and a notepad, and I'd jot down some of the relevant hooks from my dream, which would allow me to go into the more detailed analysis later. Never let me down. So if you really want to know what's going on in your life, how to resolve issues, let your dreams be the key, because you can ask absolutely anything. You might be surprised at what you discover. If you'd like to share any comments, observations, or suggestions, please feel free to email me. My address is in the description. And if you found that interesting, well, let's see what kind of dreams you're going to have tonight. Now, I'll be back with you again tomorrow, but in the meantime, Have a wonderful day and a good night's sleep.